And so on, please.
Yeah, I gotta do the pledge.
Everyone stand, please.
Got it.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good band.
everyone.
Where, you just ran out last time. Didn't you just put new banners in there last meeting?
Yeah, we take them out because it drains the batteries all the minutes I have from last meeting.
Okay, your organizational meeting first, correct? Yes. Okay. Minutes, you guys have a chance to take a look at the minutes of last meeting?
Yes, I did. I wasn't here, so.
I did. I don't see any additions or subtractions.
Move, Mark,
I'll motion that we accept them the way they're presented.
and I'll second. And I'll turn it over to,
Nope, we got financial yet.
oh, that's right. I didn't even go into that yet.
And by the way, I see no additions or changes.
Okay,
I'll move we accept them the way they are.
and I'll second.
I abstain.
You don't have to abstain from the financial.
Oh, I can, okay.
Because you
I
looked
vote
at them,
yes.
and they look all right to you.
I vote yes.
Can't see anything wrong with it. Okay. You guys, Kristy.
We need to, this is organizational first, right?
Yes.
We need to call for nominations for chairman for a period of either 1 or 2 years.
I nominate Mark for a period of 1 year.
I second.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
I motion that we close nominations.
That needs a second.
Second.
Yes, or second.
Yes.
Okay. Now we need to call for nominations for,
No, you're gonna
You
call,
want to be vice chair?
That's fine.
call the roll of the board to close the nominations. Then
I thought we did that.
makes sense.
We did that.
They gotta
It
do a
was
roll
yes,
call.
yes,
But
and
you
yes.
have to, you have to call the roll
On this, we gotta do a roll
For their
call,
vote.
everything.
for their vote.
okay? I don't know if
Yeah,
Just call
just
them
ask
our
Randy.
names.
Who do you vote for?
Randy, who do you
Mark.
vote for? Okay,
Mark?
Mark,
okay.
hairlip dog. Mark.
Mark.
Okay,
Yeah, you're gonna call. for-
okay, now we need to call for nominations for vice chairman for a period of either 1 or 2 years.
I'll,
No, Randy, you want to do it?
okay,
Nominate Randy for a period of 1 year?
I'll second.
Yes,
Okay, Randy, who do you,
me, Randy.
Well,
Randy.
First, somebody's gotta make a motion to close the nominations.
Yeah.
Make a motion to close nominations.
And that needs a second.
I'll second.
Yes.
okay,
Now you call for your vote.
Randy.
Randy?
Mark,
Randy. Where was I?
In deep thought.
I was thinking Mark who, you know?
Someplace he shouldn't go.
Now turn it over to-
okay. Now I'm gonna turn the meeting over to Mark, the new proceeding officer.
Okay, communications from the clerk?
Spectrum sent us a letter that our new monthly rate is going up to $99.99. We're currently paying $79.99.
And I think we
No.
knew that was coming.
Yeah, it's going up a total of $30 a month.
The internet's going up 20 and the voice is going from $29.99 to $39.99.
And I think we had a period of 2 years or 1 year when we signed up for them that at the lower amount, and I thought it was going to jump. I mean, that shouldn't be a surprise, because they give you, it was either 1 to 3 years that
You had a promotion already.
right,
Yeah.
you stayed at that rate, and then after that period, you were going up, so I kinda knew that was coming.
That's all I have for communications.
Randy?
I have nothing.
I have
Ed?
nothing additional.
I don't either. All right. Resolution should be adopted setting the day and the month and time and the place of the meetings next year. Everybody good with the current second and fourth
Second and
Monday?
fourth Monday at 6 PM. I like that. I'll make a motion, we keep it second and fourth Monday at 6 PM.
I second.
Yes. Okay, we need to do a resolution to set the rate of pay for the new year for the employees. We're gonna have to go one by one.
Unless you're gonna give a,
Unless we're gonna do
Across the board.
across the board.
What are you guys feeling?
I like cross.
I don't wanna ask you, because I already know you're answering this.
I'm gonna.
I wanna be realistically.
EMS coordinators, additional pay.
What?
Why? Because it's not an active position right now.
Because it's not what?
Active position.
So what do you wanna do with it?
I just want to take it away, suspend it from the
You know, suspend the EMS coordinator.
additional pay.
and that's the rate that Tim McCoy
Yeah.
got?
Is it going to, you wanna get rid of the position, or you wanna freeze
The
the pay? Freeze the pay on, all right, we're gonna go each one. So, let's just go to number F, which is EMS coordinator. I'll make a motion, we freeze that present rate of $11.44.
I'll second.
I vote yes.
Okay. Now we have to still do, are you guys thinking across the board?
I like across the board. I'm thinking 1%, something like that. That's what we did last year. It's not a lot, but it's something.
With as tight as it is now, what the new governor's gonna do.
Hopefully the
they're
new
gonna-
governor will help us out, but we don't know until he gets in there and gets started.
Yeah, there's a lot of money in the rate, $2 billion, I believe.
Yeah.
2.7 billion.
2.78 million or something, billion.
$1 billion that they have in a rainy day fund. That's where we lost our budget. And
Well, everybody lost their budget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's schools, townships, cities. They're not telling you, the old governor, how he got it. He boasted that he had it. That when he took office, his first term, he said that they ran that rainy day fund to zero, and he was gonna build that back up. But how he got it was, again, from the township. We were at, 7 years ago, 1.3 some million. We are at 1 million now, so that's just 1 year that you lose 300, and another year you lose 200 and some. So we've lost, I would say, better than 1.5 in the last 7 years. So it's kind of, it makes it difficult.
And this money we'll never get back.
Right, unless this new governor releases that and gives some of that back. We'll see. So, anybody,
My suggestion's 1% across the board.
Randy, your
I like that.
motion?
Go ahead, Ed.
Motion for 1% raise across the board.
I'll second.
And I'll vote yes, and that will be for A, B, C, D, E, G, H, I, and J. With exceptions of F, the EMS coordinator freeze. Need to set the bond for the road superintendent and building ground superintendent, freaking frack. Present bond is $5,000.
That's still sufficient, Nancy?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, we keep your bond at 5,000.
I second.
Yes? Okay, employment policy. At the present time, the full-time employees are offered health insurance beginning 1/1 of 2017. The township pays 90% of the premium. The employees pay 10% of the premium. I think we changed
That
that.
got changed
That
when
changed.
we did away
Changed.
with the insurance.
So what is it now? Do you believe it was a 70-30 or an 80-20? I forget what we said.
What it is
Don't
now?
we pay 25%?
75-25?
What are they paying now? 10%?
It's still 10%.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I thought we changed that mid-year. Okay. Any thoughts on that, gentlemen?
I'm good with what
Keep
it is
keep
right
it at
now.
the same,
I
I
mean,
think.
Keep it the same?
Yep,
Motion?
I'll motion, we keep the health insurance the same.
I'll second.
And yes. Set vacation time for road superintendent, building and ground superintendent. Present time, both Mr. Deal and Mr. Soderman receive 2 weeks vacation time per year. This will increase to 3 years after 10 years employment.
3 weeks after 10 years.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
3 weeks after.
3 weeks after 10.
I make a motion, we keep that the same.
A second.
Yes. Road superintendent, buildings, ground superintendent receive comp time for overtime work. Trustees agreed to grant 1 1/2 hours of comp time for every hour of overtime logged. Trustees agreed to buy out comp time any hours over 24 hours logged on a quarterly basis. That's always been the same.
Worked out pretty well.
You guys still all right with that, aren't you?
Yeah.
I make a motion, we keep that the same.
Second.
Yes. The following are paid holidays for eligible township employees. New Year's Day, Martin Luther King, or another day can be taken in lieu of this day. President's Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Veterans Day, Columbus Day, Thanksgiving Day, and Christmas Day. Can we take anything from them?
All of them.
What's Columbus Day? I mean, how many people work on Columbus Day here? No, I'm kidding.
I'll make a motion, we keep the holidays the same as what they are at present time.
I second.
Yes. Okay. Full-time employees are eligible for the above holidays. Yeah, that's part of that. Road department and fire department are required to submit written reports to trustees at the first monthly meeting.
Or be present.
Or be present.
I'll keep that the same.
Motion?
Motion, keep that the same.
I'll second.
Yes. Sick day policy at the present, the road superintendent and buildings and ground superintendent receive 3 sick days per year with an additional 5 sick days per year if hospitalized. If sick days are not used during the year, they will not accumulate from 1 year to the next, so you can't roll those.
Keep it the same.
Motion? I'm
I
good with that.
move that we keep it the same.
Second,
Yes.
and I wanna see if this has changed. Authorized mileage expense, present rate is 54 cents per mile. Is that the same? I haven't heard the federal
I
has
don't know what the
changed.
IRS is
Well,
doing this year.
IRS last year for 2017 was 55.5 cents, or 55.
2018, you mean?
No, 2000, on the 2017 taxes. You were
Okay,
allowed 55 cents.
I say keep it the same.
I'm good with that.
I mean, gas
Okay.
prices are
That's fine.
Yeah, we
Down
don't,
right now,
nobody
so.
turns in much anyway. Mileage,
That's
very
fine.
little gets turned in.
motion.
I'll motion, we keep the mileage rate at 54 cents per mile
I second.
reimbursement.
Yes. Set inventory date.
I'd
Brian.
like to change the 19 to 20.
What's that?
Oh, no, 19.
No,
is-
this
here's what
19.
it is.
Okay. Inventory date. Engineers should have it by 1/30/119. Does that give you enough time? Give you guys enough time? Okay. Same, it will be,
Motion, we keep it same.
I
We turned
second.
it in engineer office by 1:31.
second.
Yes.
Cemetery fees.
Hold it.
Wait a minute.
Technical difficulties.
How old is that thing?
Old.
You might
Tell
wanna
me,
try to
do
get a
they?
new one, maybe?
I'm talking about the
Who motioned
recorder.
that?
What do they do?
Emotion.
Well, Nancy got it, we got that new
He
10 years
seconded.
ago.
I vote yes.
Yeah,
I didn't even know you could still buy cassette tapes.
I didn't
I
either.
think they use the same ones over and over.
we got a big supply.
Oh my. Okay, set cemetery fees. The present fees for the cemetery lots for the residents are $200 for a single grave, non-residents $675 for a single grave. What's your thoughts on that, gentlemen? I know we had,
Ours, 300 for a resident.
yes it is, it's $300 for a resident
Yeah.
and it is $725 for a non.
And they
So-
were kind of middle of the road, they redid it
Yes.
last year.
207.25. Wasn't it?
No, it was $300, I just looked at it.
Yeah, we just looked at it.
Bump it up just a little bit.
take the residents $250 and the non-residents up $50 too?
Yeah,
$7.25?
be like everybody else. Well, our residents still gonna be a little cheaper.
Like I said, Palmyra isn't the highest and they're not the lowest, because they
Right,
went
they're
and
just the
redone, they
average.
redone theirs last year. I
Alright.
talked to Steve about it. And
I'll make a motion, we do residents
I would-
$250 and
Okay, I would suggest that you go through every one of the prices, then make a motion. to
Instead of doing each
Okay.
individual?
Okay, all right, let's go, okay. Burials, right now, currently, residents are at $200, non-residents are at $4. Infant resident is at $50, infant non-resident is at $60. Cremation, resident $100, cremation non-resident $150. Vault burials after 3 p.m. will be charged an additional $100. $200 additional for Saturday burials and $250 additional for Sunday and holiday burials. Foundation fees are at $75 per square foot currently. Let's go through and see what we have. What do you guys want to
Okay,
do?
we're going back to the cemetery lots.
Yep, sir.
The residents, let's go up to $250. That's still cheaper than the average. It's only a $50.
Do we have to motion on each one or just do this all, then
No,
motion
make
for
your
all?
changes first and then
Okay.
make your motion.
And make a motion, okay.
Non-resident, Randy, you said what?
Let's keep that the same as Palmyra's. I mean, that's
$7.25.
$7.25.
Okay. Burials.
I'm all right with that.
Burials moved to $250. Cause you said they're
Right,
$300.
they are 300.
That's still cheaper.
I'm okay with that.
That's real cheap, actually.
Yeah, and I'm pretty good on keeping the rest the same.
Yeah, I'm good with that. What about what about after 3? Is that gonna be an issue at all, Mike? I mean,
No.
we're okay at 3 o'clock, or
3
we're gonna
o'clock's
run
okay.
into overtime?
You get one once in a while,
Well,
you guys
it's-
run into overtime or
Right,
something,
but-
but
But it's not that very often, and most of the time that any of them are overtime, it's on the weekends anyways, and we're charging extra for that, and
anyway,
cover
so,
that
all
in.
right.
All right, so for
Foundation fee, $75 square foot, that still takes care of everything very nicely, so I don't think we need to change that.
So the 3 changes are the cemetery lots for residents, non-residents, and the burials for the residents. Everything else stay the same? Motion?
I moved.
Did you raise the non-resident
Keep those.
$50 too for burials, or?
We did not. Go ahead, Mike, Randy.
What's it?
Staying the same.
Non-residents 400.
That's correct, that change, we didn't
And what
change
is
that.
what is Palmyra's?
I think yours is a little bit less. I think yours is,
400, I think's good.
That's what I'm thinking.
yeah.
I'm all right with 400
I am
on that.
too.
That covers everything.
I move that we accept those 3 changes and keep everything else the same.
You got the numbers wrote down? I'll second that then.
Yes. Set ambulance fees. Let me get in here. Present rates are residents and non-residents basic life support $650. Resident and non-resident advanced life support 1 $700. Resident and non-resident advanced life support 2 $750. Resident and non-resident non-transport 200. Resident and non-resident mileage charge loaded $12 per mile. Mutual aid to the following townships shall be soft billed, the same as Deerfield Township residents, Atwater, Berlin Township, Edinburgh, and Palmyra. What do you think?
Stays the same.
Everything? You're happy with that?
I'll make a motion, we keep the ambulance fees same.
I'll second.
And yes. Okay, the big one. Set town hall rental fees. Present fees are Sunday through Sunday. Deerfield residents, 0 to 50 people is 100. 51 to 100 people, 175. 101 to 200 is 300. Non-residents, 0 to 50 is 200. 51 to 100 is 350. 101 to 200 is 500. No organizations during the month of May through August and December will be permitted to use the Deerfield Town Hall free of charge without prior approval from the Deerfield Township Trustees. There will be a minimum charge of $200 for events held by organizations held on Saturdays with prior approval. Without prior approval, Deerfield residents will be charged $600 and non-residents will be charged $750. All rentals require $250 refundable deposit, which will return 14 days thereafter. There will be a minimum of $50 up to $250 withheld from deposit for cleaning if hall is not cleaned after rental. Wedding receptions and fundraisers will require a minimum deposit of $750. No confetti, hay, straw, open flame candles, glitter, or livestock will be permitted effective January 9th, 2017. Any new pricing and rules will be effective for the new rentals effective January 8th, 2018. Prior rentals made will be honored at the previously quoted pricing. Also, the individual renting of the Deerfield Town Hall must be in attendance during that entire event.
I don't know about the fees, but there's some changes I would like to make in the contract. I'm not sure exactly what we need to do yet. We're getting 50 or 60% of our rentals are ghost rentals, which means Deerfield Township residents are renting them to give to their second cousin twice removed from their third ex-wife. And we're getting burned. I mean, the township's getting burned. That's not what it was set up for. It was set up for the township residents.
So people,
We're having somebody come in and say, I want to rent this, and then somebody's coming in and paying the fee to rent it. And then we're getting another check for the deposit on it, and that makes a nightmare when something goes wrong. We just had a rental a while back that they didn't clean up. We were going to give part of the money back. They canceled the check on us. And it's one of those deals where a resident rented it for whatever down the road. I don't even know what it was. Didn't matter. But anyway, we were going to give them part of the money back, and before we could even make arrangements to do that, the bank sent us a check back where they'd stopped payment of the check. So they left a heck of a mess, excuse me, whatever. But TJ, Mikey had to clean it up, mulch in the yard, confetti in the yard, artificial flowers in the yard, beer cans and bottles in the yard and in the parking lot.
no
Floor,
police officer.
floor was so sticky you couldn't even walk in there in the hall. But of,
Well,
of course, they cleaned it totally before they left. When I
They had a police officer, but he was in the bridal party.
Yeah.
He wasn't even in uniform, and I think that's one stipulation we definitely have to meet.
Well, I think the first stipulation is when we take that order, whoever is renting the hall, that they need to have their check in their name for the deposit and for payment of the hall, whoever it is. If you get a phone call and they say, how much is it going to cost to rent a hall? And you say, well, how many people? They say 100. And you say, where do you live? And they say, I live something Kent. But my uncle in Deerfield is going to rent it. Right there, you need to say, what's your uncle's name? Write that down. That way, say, well, give them the non-resident price while they're on the phone. And if he calls, then you can give him the non-resident price again.
I had a phone call the other day, last week. She asked how much it cost to rent the hall. And I said, what's your address? I gave her the, and she wasn't in Deerfield, she was, I don't remember where. I gave her the price. And she said, well, I have somebody living in Deerfield, can they rent it? And I said, nope, we can't do that anymore. And it
I like that.
was not a problem.
Yeah, when you, the first question you ask them is, what's their address?
Yes.
You know, when they say, well, I need to rent the hall, how much does it cost? Well, what's your address?
Where
At
do
that
you-
point in time, then once you tell them the price, and they'll say, well, is that the resident price? Because my uncle's gonna rent it. Then you get his name and you log that down. So if he ever comes in, you know it's not for him, it's gonna be for that person that called. I mean, it's gonna take a little bit of finessing, but it's, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know how we can totally put a stop to it, but it's getting probably, what, 50-60% of our rentals like that anymore are like that.
I mean, it's either that, or we try it this year like that. If not, then we have to just have a one set price for everybody, and it's gonna be high. And that's just going to,
Our hall rental here is real reasonable. I don't know if anybody's rented other halls, but our hall rental's real reasonable for what we're given here. Real reasonable.
The average venue of weddings, I know that it's right in the range of 2,000, and we're giving it to somebody for,
Yeah.
even if they're non-resident and you're saying $2,000, non-resident's 500.
that's what I
So they're
mean.
saving-
I mean, they're still getting a $1,500.
But they want to
rent.
get cheap and they want to get it for $300 instead.
There you go.
I say, can we table that until That doesn't have to be set, we can accept it
Can
the
we-
way it is and change it.
We can leave it the same as it is and then revisit it at the next meeting or two, once we've talked to Chris, see how we can
Legally proceed.
do something.
As long as we don't discriminate against anybody, we're okay.
Right, it's gotta be across the
Should be
board.
across the board, but I mean,
Yeah, that's why we'd like to talk to Chris and see how we do it. I don't know what else to do, but it's getting to the point of being ridiculous.
well, I move that we keep it the way it is until we talk to Chris, to see what's the proper procedure that we need to do.
I'll second that.
I'll vote yes on that.
Okay, we need to adopt a resolution for the fire department expense reimbursement pool. Present amount is $12,000.
I make a motion to keep it at $12,000.
I'll second.
And I'll say yes. Do I need to motion to adjourn the organizational meeting? I can just go into the regular meeting?
Continue with the regular.
Okay, we'll go to the regular meeting. We've already done communications, we don't need to do that. Go to the fire department. You get your, up and running? What was broke down, your computer?
Yeah. The internet came back the next day. We ran 474 runs in 2018. We're at 9 for the year so far this year.
Is that up or down from last year, the 474?
Up. It's our highest ever. We beat our last average by 3.
Did you have 474?
There's,
Did she break down again?
Yeah, it might be
The recorder's
tape
about
recorder.
done, huh? Well, let's see,
We
go
need to
find a new one.
Let's get a new one.
I'd say go to Radio Shack, but
There, you know what,
I want you to find me one.
there's a Radio Shack in Cadiz, Ohio.
We got a state.
Really?
True statement.
I
Cadiz,
think so.
which is down south of
south.
Carrollton, way south,
where?
above
Walmart.
Wheeling.
Yeah, I
Ready to
go
go
to
again?
Staples.
Staples have some.
went through a lot of batteries. 4 of us got subpoenaed to go to court in February for a crash on 225.
I wonder why it's broke.
That's all I have.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. It's been a short week. Who's been running calls?
Do we get that valve fixed on the tanker?
They're working.
Okay, if you,
Wait,
they said that we had to switch it. I found out that I didn't have to switch it. I called a place down in Alabama. It is a small company that makes that. I have a price of $1,300 on theirs. Timmy looked up another one and I talked to Murdoch. We're in the process. If Murdoch can get it cheap enough, we can get an account set there and we'll get it from them. It shouldn't be over $500. We found it on the internet for, was that free shipping? I didn't even pay attention, it was free shipping, but it was 400 and
It's like 464, I think.
now it's a little bit different valve, but it's the same valve, it'll work with no questions asked. Even the company that, I talked to the guys that built it and they said it would work, they don't put it on because they use that on the ag business, but it's all the same pressurized tanks, it's everything, it'll work fine. So, we're gonna put this one on and then if it all works out fine, then we'll go ahead and do the other, because he said the other side's leaking a little bit. So we'll fix both sides for less than what we'd
Do
have to
one.
do one size
Okay.
for, so we're
Just
just,
wondering.
That was hard for me to follow,
okay.
but go ahead.
Either way, it's getting a new valve put
It's
on.
getting a new valve, and max
Isn't it?
it's gonna take is about a week.
Instead of 2,500, it's gonna be 500.
Yeah, so,
Let's
Give or
do-
take
let's-
about a
Let's
week.
get that one and try it. If it
Yes.
works, then we'll do the other,
Yes.
one too.
and it'll be about, I told Brian it'll be up to 5 days for them to get this valve. It's an ordered product, nobody cares. It's 6-inch valve, they just don't keep it on the shelf. And then I told him, plan for 2 days down, set up arrangements so they would be down for 2 days. I think we'll have it done in a day, but just so that
But
we're
we're
covered.
empty right now, though.
No, it's
No, he refilled it
Okay.
today, Chuck did, but, so we're ready to go. Once we get the valve, we'll shut down a day, get it all
It'd be nice if that
done.
would work.
Yeah,
So,
for the fire department, we have 2 accounts from Life Force Management that they recommend be forwarded to collection agencies.
both.
Well, they're started looking at that, did you guys appoint a secretary for this fund, for this,
Volunteer firefighters
yeah.
minute fund.
That's Panama City,
dependents
Florida.
fund?
We just have our two members. We need a secretary too.
We need to
Need a
nominate
s-
someone as chairperson and somebody as secretary.
Cause it used to
You gotta have
be,
5,
Well,
you gotta have a
This-
chairperson and a
This is
secretary.
California.
We can motion
The
to go.
committee's got to get
one's
together.
Colorado,
and
Well, I
one's
think we need to
California.
go for it.
Decide
Yeah,
who's gonna be
might as well.
chairman and
Yep.
secretary.
As far as these go? Anyone motion?
We turn them in like we always do.
Yeah.
One's Panama City, Florida, and the other one's California, so.
I move that we send them in.
I'm gonna go visit them just to make sure.
I'll second.
Pay mileage on that?
Not getting mine.
No, I used it all up.
Who made the motion?
Randy motioned, I second.
I vote yes.
It's still working on.
Somebody not paying lots of
Oh,
wages.
you know why? Because it's voice activated.
So it might have been doing it all along.
Okay. Did that. Mikey, what else is going on?
Day.
Not a whole lot, but we had already made arrangements. Johnson Road is supposed to, we got funds put away for that. Johnson Road will be paved this year. I'd like to roll the 2 miles of chip and seal over to this year. I'm gonna get in touch with Portage County right away so that we do not get pushed off on this year. If feasible, I would like to add 2 miles to that, so that we, it's about $17,000 a mile to do that. Now, it doesn't gotta be something that's made decision tonight, but check funds and see what we can come up with for the year.
Yeah, I agree. If we have the funding in road department, we'll have Kristy looking and see if
I
we do.
would
more the
would
merrier.
like to, and I'm gonna talk to the county if they will do this. Wagner Road back there from Bandy Road to the dead end, through that tree line has gotten so rough because of the trees. I would like to see if they would double chip that chunk.
Do a double chip and still do a 57 and then the 5 stuff on top of
Then
it.
an 8 on top of that.
I agree
So
with
that'll
that.
take, and that's about a quarter of a mile, so that'll be a half mile basically we'd be charged for that chunk. But
I like that
just-
double chip and seal.
anywhere where you got them trees, it just,
Well,
the
I talked
shade-
about that trees.
yes.
You
And
know, what would it cost? And it's something maybe we should do, because anywhere where there's trees and the sun cannot dry that road up and it stays wet, that's where your problem roads are gonna be, and they're gonna fall apart and everything else.
and we talked
The
to Mark.
cost of getting a tree trimmer in here to go down there and open these roads up as far as the trees, cut them back, get them out over the hanging of the road so these roads can get air and sun.
We did some prices, see what they charge a mile to do that.
If we could do a
What we
little bit
would
every
talk-
year, it's like,
yeah.
here, guys, we
Maybe
can
do
afford $4,000 this year.
put
Yeah.
$3,000 away a year and we'll do this and just start and go around the
Last
town.
quote we got was $250 an hour. And that was their whole crew, all their equipment. They come out, they chip.
Chip everything,
They haul everything
everything's
away.
gone.
Couple days, those guys can cover a lot of territory.
Yeah.
But that might save us on $17,000 per mile on the chip and seal.
Seal
If we get those
overtime.
things cut back, these roads will last a little bit longer.
Yeah. Drier you can
My
keep them, the better off we're gonna be. And as long as we keep getting years like this where it's so wet and everything, we need to be able to get them dry before it freezes up. So it's something, we'll get some updated prices and see if we're still in the ballpark and address that.
I imagine still
I would
close to that.
imagine too, give or take either direction. Like you said, price of fuel and everything's going down, it might even be a little bit cheaper.
What's your recommendations on, let's say, Deerfield Cemetery's roads for the spring? More gravel?
We're gonna have to add some gravel, and I would like to see Hartzell's, the curves and everything in that are they're a lot wider. To get trailers and even people cut them corners off, I think we need to take each of the corners in Deerfield and widen them out about 1.5 feet. Nothing major, just put a little bit of base in so that people aren't cut. Them are just so sharp at the back of Deerfield Cemetery and basically your little curve coming the doopity-doo where the trash can is. And just add about 1.5 feet
Well, in
to
back,
each.
we can widen them to the north.
Right,
Real
to the
easy,
north,
not
and we
gonna
ain't
do
gonna
anything at
affect
all.
anybody, but I would like to see that happen, and possibly, and we'll see if the Cemetery Association, Hartsville Cemetery has a place to back equipment in, when we have a funeral.
Okay.
Deerfield Cemetery does not. So I would like to see either where we got the trash pile clear at the north chunk.
That's a good spot
and-
right there. Move that dirt and
move
the
that
brush and
dirt
stuff.
and put a little bit of base in there and put it so we can back the trailer and the excavator, dump truck, so it's out of the way and we're not involving anybody when we have a funeral. We're not parked in front of cars. I mean, it's still in the back corner, but at least it's a little bit out of the way.
of the funeral service.
And
So-
right now, we're following everybody.
Yeah.
And looping around and, it's just a little bit of a
That's a
hassle.
good spot there in the north end right there.
Yes.
Move that dirt pile that's there and the brush and stuff and we can do that.
Well,
really
again,
easy.
Hartselle Cemetery doesn't seem, the roads, they don't seem so bad, but the last 2 years, Deerfield, I don't know if it's just continuing to get worse and worse to where we need to invest in.
Hartselle Cemetery doesn't got the anywhere direct water flow that Deerfield Cemetery has neither. All the water comes off that field up there and comes all towards that waterway. Hartselle Cemetery has a drain and a tile underneath, the only place that the water runs across that driveway. So that's the only other thing that I can tell you is different, but I don't know that.
Wilburn's field at Deerfield's here and our driveway's here.
Yeah,
So all the water runs across the driveway.
And there ain't a whole lot, I mean, I could build the driveway up, maybe put a couple pipes under it to go underneath it to try, but I just don't, you got so many acres back there that comes that direction, I don't know the control that we're ever gonna totally have on that driveway. And it seems like, the last couple of years, you never get that little bit of a rain, it's like, all of a sudden, we got 2 inches of rain in 2 hours, so it just runs right off there, I mean,
We used to groom that with a Harley rake. We no longer have that. I priced one, they make one that fits the front of the Steiner. I called 2 different places. One was about 6,200, one was 6,400.
Does any other township have something that we can use? Instead of.
Yeah, I don't
spending
wanna
extra
spend,
money?
I don't wanna
Right.
spend $6,000
No,
for
it
a
was
rake
just-
like that for the Steiner.
Right, I don't.
Just, I mean, you know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
there's gotta be, I mean, again, chip
in the
and seal
spring,
would
I've
be
always,
okay.
and it's been so wet this year that it seems like it beat it up this fall worse than it ever has. In the spring, I've always brought my tractor in and my big grater blade and smoothed everything off in the spring, but it just seems like it's never froze this year and it just keeps washing everything out.
Okay, well, if the problem areas where they wash out, is it out of the question of maybe chipping and seal that area?
I mean,
It's been done before.
It's been done before, I mean, because,
I'm just saying, something,
and it possibly could be done
or
again.
get the road grindings and do something with those.
We could, but I think that they're gonna want that white stone. That's my only problem down there is everybody happy with the white stone if we bring asphalt grindings in and get it packed in there, or are people gonna be okay with the asphalt
We're
grind? I
using
mean,
that small pea gravel.
Yeah, number 8.
Yeah.
we could, I
Can we
mean, we
go
could
up a
bump
little
up
bit
and
on
go
that backside,
Go
go
up to
57?
57.
57s and go down that side of the driveway, at least that
It's
side.
heavier, that way they won't get washed away.
Basically,
or
your
top it
worst
off with
section-
57, or with the 8s?
Yeah, maybe do
57 base.
57 and then come back and,
I think we need to move up to 57 at least when we do that again.
On that
So-
backside, it's gotta
but
be.
I would
It has
suggest, I know people, it's rough now and we're gonna keep fighting it over the winter, but I also don't think that we should go spread 57s on it and then it starts snowing and we plow it in the yard.
Yeah,
I
I
would
agree.
wait till spring now to put the 57s on.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about right now.
I was at a funeral in Charleston today and theirs is all mud.
Yeah,
I mean, theirs is just mud. It was really muddy.
so.
Anything else?
The only other thing is, we got the roadside mower, and I really think we ought to look at buying a tractor this year to run it. Now, we went with this kind of mower so that we would have a tractor that would do more than one task. It won't just be a roadside mower. It'll be a backup for the backhoe. It'll do everything that the backhoe does except for with the hoe. I mean, but we don't really use it that much anymore anyways. It'd be able to run out, push brush off the road. It'd be able to load the trucks. I'm a little concerned about the backhoe. If you don't let it warm up now, the transmission does want to slip a little bit, so I think it's going to be something that has to be addressed probably this year sometime. Not that it's a huge deal.
Name's the filter.
We changed them and then re-changed them because I was afraid we just got bad filters. But So, and New Holland offers a lease program. It's going to be a little bit less than 16 grand for about 5 years. So we wouldn't have the initial expense of paying out for the whole tractor for the year. So we'd be able to mow, be backup for the backhoe. Down the road, if we wanted to put a pusher box on its four-wheel drive, we'd be able to clean all these. If we got a 14-foot, 14-foot pusher box, we'd clean all these parking lots, the fire station, everything. If we ran into a huge storm, we could push big drifts back along the road if we had to with it. There's options with it that it would be capable of doing other things. Maybe even down the road if we have the park and we didn't have the home run fences, we could probably look at even a bat wing or a bigger mower and mow the parks with
I'm
it
not
also.
opposed to buying a tractor, but I don't want to start looking at an $80,000 tractor and go up from there, quite honestly.
It's $57,000.
Still a lot of money.
I know it's a lot of money, but I also, this is a 30-year investment is kind of what I'm looking at. You buy this tractor, it's going to roadside mow and do all this. It's going to be the last one
You
any
said
of us buy.
$16,000 a year for 5 years, that's $80,000.
Well, then it
It's
wasn't.
supposed to be 4
It's
years.
supposed to be 4 years, I'm sorry.
That's what the paperwork. Sorry, I didn't correct you.
Yeah.
64,000.
So with the interest, it's 57,000 with the interest, a little bit of interest, whatever, it comes to 64.
64,000.
Yeah. But like I said,
Because it's not something we're gonna use every day, day in and day out. We're gonna use it 3 weeks a year and the rest of the time it's gonna sit.
semi, yes, but I mean, I feel that there's gonna be other things that we use it for. Like I said, it's gonna be a lot faster to go out. I mean, it's gonna run a lot faster in the backhoe. If we gotta go push trees off on the other side of town, we can use it for that. I mean, there's gonna be more things that we're gonna find it for than just being a roadside mower.
Dance.
They didn't
They
say
didn't
that
get
it's
that.
canceled.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to buying tractors. Let's look around and get some prices, but we gotta get a lot of road work done this year and I don't know if we got the money. Gonna chip and seal 4 miles of road. We gotta asphalt Johnson Road.
Well, that money's already, I mean, she's already got that money put away.
Well, no, it's still here in our financial though, Mike, that's what I was asking you today.
Right.
You know, when you add up all the different funds, the gasoline tax, road and bridge, motor vehicle license tax, road district, permissive motor, you add all those up, then you gotta subtract all that fees out of there.
And I get, this is the thing, for the price that we can buy a brand new tractor for, you look at the same size tractor and used, we're gonna be 40 grand for a used tractor
Okay?
to run this. That's not guaranteed. This has got 3-4 year warranty on it, so we don't gotta worry about it for that long. We could buy a used one for 40 grand and the sucker could blow the transmission out the next week.
So it's a fully enclosed cab.
Yes,
What else has it got?
it's got a loader on it,
Got
and
heat?
it's got heat,
Got air?
it's got air.
Yeah, well, can we get that without heat in there? How much are you gonna save? What do you need heat there for?
You sound like my old.
Coats.
You sound like my old boss.
You got coats and windows that will.
Yeah, but
I mean, I
It's
see
a-
that thing coming down maybe to 50 grand.
90% of them are a package deal. This is the way they come down the line. I mean,
Let's
honestly,
find
God,
another 10 that doesn't have it.
but when was the last
Strip
time you
down
bought a
line.
car without heat or air conditioning?
Yeah.
We looked at those Mahindras.
They're realistically, I looked at those two, and honest to God, you're within a couple $1,000s. New Holland was actually, and this shocked me, New Holland was actually the cheapest,
And that's through state bid, right?
and that's through state bid.
One thing we do have to keep in mind though, because of state bid, we may still be able to get a better price.
I called around, that was still
All
even.
state bid does is say that we can buy from you without a whole lot of legal work and
Well,
stuff.
and I
It has to be
even,
this price.
on some things this year, like like when he called down for Steiner to get a price on that Harley, national bid was actually cheaper on their product this year than state bid was. So we've shuffled it all around. I mean, I've crunched all these numbers as good as I could, and this is as cheap as I could possibly find it.
Yeah,
I
national
mean,
bid.
John Deere was, and you know me, I bleed as much green as anybody, but John Deere was $20,000 more on a tractor than New Holland. Case International, doesn't matter. Case International and New Holland come out the same.
Write down everything
same
we think we
building.
needed on. I'm going to Columbus at the end of the month for a day, so we'll make copies and I'll give it to all our dealers down there. Here, what can you do for us? We've done everything we need.
I checked with 2 other New Holland dealerships and we were all on the same, they were all the same price.
Well, somebody might have a leftover.
That's what, this one's left over and he didn't add on the 2019 price change.
It's got air conditioning.
Take it off.
I'll cut the line for you, Mark, if it makes you feel better, I mean.
We're paying for that.
I don't know, we got a brand new mower down there, I hate to get behind the 8 ball, don't wanna push anybody into anything, but I also think that I wanna get this going so that when we're worried about roadside mowing in the spring, that it's
Well,
already here.
honestly, you told us that you can do all the roadside mowing there is to do with that excavator.
And I did it,
You told us that.
I did it.
So why do we need it? Okay.
but we decided that everybody wasn't as happy with, no, everybody said they weren't as happy with the mowing job.
Well.
So we
is
bought
that-
a
is
brand
that-
new mower last
Is that
year.
necessarily the tractor?
Operator.
I'm serious. I mean, is that automatically the tractor that it doesn't look as good? I don't know. I'm asking. We got rid of a roadside mower,
And they got rid of it a year later.
but the tractor was fine. All we need to do is get a new mower and that. But we got rid of that at your suggestion that we get rid of it because you didn't need it. You could do everything you needed to do with the
Then we'll keep,
excavator.
then we'll sell the mower we bought and
No,
I
I'm
can
not
keep
saying, I'm
mowing
not
and I
saying we're
can
not
keep
gonna buy
mowing
a
with
tractor.
what
I
we got.
just, I'm hard pressed to spend $89,000 for a tractor.
Amen.
I just am.
Well, our money comes in March, correct? So that'll give us, with what we carried over, and then the new money, we'll see where we're at. I mean, that's,
And
I
see
mean,
what
we're
you
already
can
talking
get.
about,
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
going
I
to,
mean-
I'm going to Columbus end of the month, and then all the
Right.
dealers will be there, so if we write down what we want, I'll give it to them, let them send us all a bid. And we can look at it from there and see. Because there'll be 8 different dealers there.
I think we got all the paperwork with the options on it, so we can just wait.
Because
out
they
what
all tell you, oh yeah, we're under state bid. Well, that's fine, but that doesn't mean you have to sell it to us for state bid. You can sell it to us cheaper.
Yeah, when I
And if they want to sell a tractor, they might sell it cheaper.
that Ventrac, when I called on that rake, they said that rake was their normal discount was 13%. The state bid was only 10% this year. The national bid was 18%, so they were able to
Yeah.
finagle the numbers that way.
But
That's
that changes with different dealers, I
Yeah.
mean, different companies.
got
well,
something
let's just,
missing?
I just think we just should wait till the money comes in March.
We'll look
figure
around
out
between now and then and
Let
see
him
what,
go down.
What money's coming out for Johnson, what money's coming out for the chip and seal, what money's coming out, for payments and things, so. Then we'll go from
I
there.
agree. We don't need it till then anyway, but.
Okay.
I agree, we got a mower sitting down there that we knew we bought and we didn't have a tractor, but we saved $12,000 or something like that buying it when we
Yes,
did. So that
yes,
was
we
the
did.
reason for buying that. That's why we justified buying it without the tractor.
All right, so for now, we'll just table that until we get some more
Yeah,
information, so.
I mean, we gotta do something here.
I
Yes.
just had a quick, I didn't know if you were doing questions now or not, but do they have like a total of the hours that they do on the roadside mowing and stuff? Cause I know like last year ours only got mowed twice, the whole, from spring till fall, well, until right before.
Ohio Revised Code, everybody mows the roadsides twice a year.
That's all.
That's all.
Yeah.
The county,
Even the
every
state- Even the
township,
county and the state and stuff, they pretty much
Twice a
mow
year.
twice.
We
a
try
year.
to hit them when the spring, late spring, when all the weeds finally get to their peak, and then towards the fall when they regrow.
the state, the only way that they will mow more than twice a year is if they do have extra time. I mean, I deal with all them
They go down
guys,
the 4th of July and they go down in October and that's it.
yeah.
That's a mess. But anyhow, since we're talking about roads, hopefully there'll be something done with Watson since it's falling in. I mean, it's gonna look like Johnson pretty soon because one side's still sinking. So just.
Yeah, that is sinking right there.
Right
Yeah.
there, and
Oh, yeah.
That might be.
And I don't know what I'm gonna totally do about that because I ain't gonna blame it all on one thing, but all that septic comes out because that driveway's, that's all buried culvert right there. And if you look where that road is sinking, that's where all that septic comes out. So it keeps that, it's the side of the road
Wet there all the time.
all the time. So it allows that road to push into that ditch. We fixed the chunk down on Carter's Ford. Wasn't last year, it was the year before. We cut the whole chunk of the road out, and I went and got bigger stone. Me and Timmy packed it all back in there. So it's probably what I'm gonna have to try to do down there also. But it was the same way, they have it, it was a place where the side of the road was wet all the time, and the dump garbage trucks, and I mean, there's all kinds
Garbage
of.
trucks don't go down south, they only go one side, and that's the other side, they don't come back that way. So it's not.
They go down the center of the road,
Yeah. This is off to the side of the road.
and it just keeps pushing out. I got a couple places, but if you look at the couple places that it's really, really bad, it's always wet in that ditch, and
Might have to
Deerfield,
do like you did at Twin Oaks or Carter's Ford or something.
and cut it out.
Chunk out of
and
there
put
and dig it down and put big riprap in there.
there, and
I think that's what'll fix it.
Then layer it up and then asphalt
from
over
there.
top of it again.
Yep.
That seems to be holding up where you did
Yeah.
on Carter's Ford and
and there's a
stuff.
garbage truck that runs down that
Yeah.
all the time, so I mean,
Yes,
Okay, we're back on Watson Road again.
okay.
It was a while ago that there was this really nice drain built at the end of Watson and Town,
there was never a drain.
or whatever that's
There
called.
was never a drain put in there though. The 2 pipes were put in there, and I guess, because I talked to a couple people, they never actually put the catch basin in there.
Oh, okay.
So the only way that you're gonna get that catch basin, because we are not
I'm not
into,
asking for
Okay.
the catch basin.
okay,
This is what I'm asking for. The local people who live there, we know when you come around that corner,
it drops off.
we watch
Yeah.
because it's deep.
Yeah,
And
It is
my concern is I don't feel it's safe at all. I feel it's accident looking for a serious place to happen. And the people who come to visit you, who are not our locals, they're like, oh my God, I mean, did you guys see? And we're like, well, we're kind of used to it. But I'm wondering, is if,
Right in the
you know,
corner,
like
real
those
nice house in the
half
corner.
moon
Turn it
kind of
left.
guards,
Got that
you know, those
catch
silver,
basin. And it is bad.
Guardrail like?
guardrail,
I don't know.
or would we,
Can
and this is up to you
something-
guys, and I don't know whether we could talk to them. Probably the easiest fix would be to put a catch basin in, but that's,
but would it still be deep?
No, you
no,
you fill
I'm
it
talking
around
a
the catch
concrete,
basin. You
I'm
fill
talking
that
about a
area in.
concrete
Oh.
catch basin up to,
Oh.
it would
Street
be up
level.
to.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's scary.
Oh,
It
I
is,
got
that's
you.
bad there.
Okay.
If you,
Then you
okay,
just fill in
if
all
you go
around
down,
it
if
with
you
the
go
dirt
down
and you're
to,
Okay.
if you go down to Twin Oaks, and you go
Okay.
around the curve now, we put one right there on the corner, because
Okay.
it dropped off real far
Alright.
there.
All right.
Do you think we,
How many drains come into that corner right there?
There's 2 big
4.
pipes, and there's 2 little ones, I think.
there's one that comes across the road, one that goes across the road, where they tiled, and this one, so there'll be 4 pipes that come into that.
Can you
It'd
get
be-
them that way?
Yeah, it'll be, we'll have to cut,
You gotta
And
you
put
gotta
it-
cut, you gotta
and
cut.
then we'll have to put sleeves and everything, I mean,
Scary.
it,
Yeah,
but it can be
scary.
done, I mean, it
It
just.
is scary.
I'm
Place.
scared with the truck myself.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And when someone's coming
I
down
mean-
Viewtown,
Probably,
I mean,
what are them catch
that's-
basins, $600.
Yeah.
And not that I'm gonna put you off on this,
I'm not 100% sure.
but there's no way we're gonna be able to do it now until it dries up.
Oh, we
No.
understand, oh, we totally
I-
totally
If you
understand
could
that.
remind us and bring this back up, and so
Okay.
we can revisit this in the spring when we are out
I
there.
can do that.
Perfect, because
can do that.
honestly,
Okay.
I remember nothing, I mean, everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You didn't remember to stop by. I already drank the beer. You're all
I
right.
know, I know.
I think
It's been
it's
crazy.
What else we got?
I think there's so much complaint on Watson Road, you ought to shut it down.
Well, then they can chip and seal the end of a few section of Town that you guys
Well, we
never
could
did.
use all that money to fix the county road on Notman in there.
Yeah.
As long as you guys are doing something, we're happy.
Officer
Yeah,
Bol-
just, again,
Officer
we're not
Bolton
gonna,
didn't
right
know
now,
that Mountain Road was in the
we're
county road
already
and called me and told me to
waiting
go
to
pick
get
up
hit
25
with all the
tires down there
snow.
today.
Oh my
So,
God.
Bolton
once
has a
spring
county
comes up,
road.
absolutely, then we can put it in,
That's a good one right there that we do need to do something about.
Yeah, thank
that.
you.
Every time I go down
Yeah.
there, I think about that.
So-
Scary.
Yeah.
we'll put it into the planning, but again,
Okay.
just,
Reminder, okay.
we're probably gonna
Yeah.
be 2 months
We'll
of crappy
remind
Well, you might
weather.
find a boat trailer just stuck in there someday.
Come back before March, because if we decide to do something, Marlboro Supply sales in March.
Yeah.
If we
Yeah.
decide to
You're
do
in charge
something,
of
that's
that.
when we do it.
So do you remind us
Come
at the
before
end
the-
of
Come
February?
back before the first of
Mark
March.
Magler will
and
remind you.
We'll
Maybe you'll remind you.
I'll remind you.
She'll forget.
Missy, you have something?
I got,
She's worried about dead
I was gonna say, I
bodies
noted it,
being
we'll be
buried
all right.
over here.
For the cemetery plots last week that Mark, or a couple weeks ago when Mark had told me that you guys had decided not to do that for now. can we get that in writing that so that I can add that into our will estate and everything for?
What, did you get first choice when we do
Yes,
get
for
put it up
those
for
two
sale?
plots, and then.
When
We
it
told,
is.
we told her she could have first
Yes.
choice at it if we put it up
Yeah,
for sale.
he
I don't,
wasn't here.
I don't.
Yeah,
care.
you
I
weren't
put
here.
it in the
They did.
minutes. I put your name in the minutes so that it would be documented. I don't know if that helps or.
Right, but I don't know if that
She just
will
wants something
justify
saying
for
that
my,
if we-
will paperwork and stuff too though, for, you know what I mean, to have everything.
I will
down
check
in
with Chris, see if we can do something different, but he may say to give her a copy of the minutes where it's in, but
Okay.
we'll get something out
If you
there.
could check, that would be great.
Yeah,
And
we'll
then
get
that way,
something
too,
worked out
is
for you.
that still under the previous, cemetery pricing from 2018?
Probably not, because it might be 10 years before we put it up for sale.
Okay, so that would need to be in there too then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that way I can have it.
We decided on that right there, that tree's there, and sure as heck, we sell it to you, and here it is, you can use it. 6 months down the road, something's gonna happen, you're gonna wanna use it, and we're gonna be in a bind. Now we gotta get a tree cut
Well, there
down,
was something
we
else,
gotta get
too.
a stump dug out, we gotta get all kinds of stuff done. And we're not gonna be able to make arrangements for when you wanna use it for the funeral, is
With
what that
9
came
8
out
feet, you
to.
don't even have
Now,
8 foot
is there
there
any way we could have in the deed that the two in the back, that we would use those first?
No,
So
no,
that if something did happen or anything like that?
no, a deed is just for the individual lots, and you're getting complicated, you start putting deed restrictions in and all that stuff.
Well, no, I was just asking if there's any way they could, you
I
know what I
don't-
mean, so that you weren't having some type of time restriction, because we don't foresee a time restriction.
I would have
for
to
us.
say no, I can ask Chris now too, but I would have to say no, that won't work.
Okay.
But I'll check on that too while I'm talking
Okay.
to him.
Yeah, because I mean, if we could simplify it by just having something in there that the other two were used first, before those would even be accounted for to use, but I'm just asking to see.
I'll ask Chris, see
Not
what he
that I'm
says.
planning on, like, you know, falling off the edge anytime soon, but.
All right, yeah, I'll find out.
Better not.
Yeah,
But
better
there was
not.
something else with that lot you were telling me about today about.
Because
something-
it is, and that's the other thing,
It's
even if we
next
could,
to
the drains on the other side of it, so it's like really pushing it even to get it in
Yeah,
there,
there's a-
even without the tree there.
There's a nice 6-inch drain
Drain
right
that runs-
down beside
so
that right
It
there.
is, I mean,
It's close,
Yeah.
I did go back and relook at, because you can see where
The pipe comes out and then-
runs through and where the grade is and everything.
so,
But
It's-
more than likely, at that point when we do use it, it's probably not going to be for actual
It'd be a
caskets. It'll probably be
cremation.
for cremation. So I'm thinking we're probably not going to need that full amount. I mean, the worst part would be where the headstone would go, pretty much. Because you're not gonna need to dig out near as much for anything like that.
Right.
So that was the other questioning that I was, you know, gonna ask about that too, because like I said, even if we would have to write something else up, that would be fine too. But I just wanted to check and see.
Okay, anybody else?
that tree's so.
Yes, sir?
I'll talk to you, I got a couple things.
I
back.
did not call Mike. I have his number, Mike. The holiday, 'tis the season, it's
You said
busy.
before the first of the year, Dan? I'll call.
It is the first of the year.
Before.
No, it's the first of the year. But no, I do have his number, and I did punch it in my phone, and I
Yeah,
will call
forget.
him. No, it's just the holidays, it's just crazy. So, but yeah, I will.
I had one
Yes.
more quick one. This one actually isn't well, it's kind of a question, but it's more of a comment. I noticed that they had put a new stone in for Ulysses S. Grant's grandmother.
Grandmother,
Rachel.
yes.
Whoever decided to do that, that was awesome. Thank you
That
so
was
much,
his
'cause
historical,
Cemetery.
Cemetery, Sally Sampson.
Sally Sampson was in,
Okay.
A big
Is there any
one of
way
that.
we could send them a thank you for that? Because, I mean, I know we went out and looked several times, and the only thing we could find was an older stone that was like tucked behind the building that's back there.
Mhm.
So we kind of wondered, well, maybe that was what the building was for, we didn't know. So then when I drove in and saw that it was actually placed there, I was really shocked to know that that's where the location
yeah,
was.
Sally and
It
Don
wasn't-
Sampson, all of them took that
Yes.
upon themselves to do that.
Triangle thing on the,
Yeah.
Jeff did a thing on her.
Yeah, that didn't-
In school and stuff, yeah.
Anybody else?
Her address should be in the phone book.
Make a motion, we adjourn the meeting and pay our bills.
I'll second.
Yes.
Yes. Take your pick.
Either way,
Kristy.
we're doing it.
Your what?
Go ahead and collect it. Go ahead and collect it.
Mark's meetings the meetings are only supposed to last 7 minutes.
Oh my God.
We're gonna go 17?
Randy.
Probably went an hour, huh?
He's
What
been
is this
holding his
here?
breath all day, so he can talk.
Hour.
It's that letter that we approved.
Do we need to
last
sign
week.
it?
Yeah. For the recycling.
No.
Your buddy Officer Bolton didn't know that Knottman Road was a county road.
So is he gonna take care of
Bolton
that?
didn't know that?
Yeah, he's gonna take care of
Alex
it.
didn't know that?
No, he called.
He wanted us to
find
pick
me, and I'm
25
talking to
tires
the guy
up.
over the valve. I'm like, Timmy's at the town hall. Go talk to him. Come up